Hi, Gaye DeRusso with Majestic Rider. So today I want to talk to you a little bit more about your hands. A lot of times when we're riding and we're trying to get that horse's head down, people who are doing it in the beginning have a lot of issues and the horse's head goes up and down and up and down and it just goes back and forth and they can't keep the horse's head down. A lot of times it's just miscommunication with your hands and your timing. So I teach the horses, which you see in my previous videos, to do lateral flexion and then vertical flexion. And so I teach them to turn their head side to side. That's the lateral flexion. And then to give to both hands at the same time. And that's vertical flexion. So once they understand that, then I start walking and stopping, putting pressure on until they stop and keep their head down, and then after that I ask them to walk and just keep their head down. So what I do is they now understand that when I close my fingers around the reins tight, that they're supposed to put their head down. As I do that, I also squeeze lightly with my legs to make sure the horse knows to keep going and not to stop. So I do the hands and the legs at the same time. Once that horse's head is down, then I lighten my squeeze a little bit. So then I lighten my squeeze a little bit. And if you lighten it too much, so you're holding tight and you go like this, the horse loses total communication. A lot of them, because they don't know to keep their head down, they throw their head right back up. So when you're teaching them in the beginning, you want to hold tight, and then when you release, you only want to give a little release, like just a couple millimeters, not much. So you probably didn't even see much happen with my hands, but it was real tight, then it was loosened just a little bit. As they get better, then you can release more and more and more. And they'll start to keep their head down and they'll start to do more self-carriage. But it takes time. But to communicate to them in the beginning, you're going to have to hold more pressure than you think you do. And that's usually the problem, is that you're releasing too big, and that's why that horse's head is coming up. So again, your time and your feel has to be good. You do have to give a release, but in the beginning, when you're trying to walk and keep their head down, don't give such a big release. It's fine to give a big release when you're standing still or when you're teaching it in the beginning, but once you want to keep their head down, then you're going to hold tight pressure when you ask them to bring their heads down, and then you're going to release just a couple millimeters to keep that head down. And then when you stop and give them a break, you'll see I tell people, hold the buckle. Let them go on a loose rein and put their head down and relax. Okay? So I hope that helps. Some of you are having problems with the horse's head, and it just keeps going up and down. Like you've gotten it down, but it won't stay down.